And Micah Parrish has entered the transfer portal. He's going to go through the draft process with the option to return to San Diego State as well, which is kind of what Dutch, I don't want to put words in his mouth. We'd have to go back and listen, but he kind of mentioned that with Micah, he's got options. Like all of these players, Lamont has options. He has said he could go pro, he could come back. Reese Waters, he said, could test NBA waters as well. But Micah Parrish, this shouldn't really come as a surprise if you have followed college basketball, if you kind of understand the dynamics at play, especially with successful programs like San Diego State. You have options, one of which is to consider a pro route. That's absolutely a possibility for someone like Micah Parrish. NBA, Europe, G League. Then could you enter the portal and end up elsewhere? Of course he could. And is San Diego State still a possible destination? Yes, according to John Rothstein, who put out the initial tweet 22 minutes ago. So we had Dutch in studio, but Micah Parrish, official, is currently in the portal.
And if he does not return, if he does go somewhere else, or if he does decide he wants to, pursue his professional career overseas or whatever the case may be, I think everybody should look at what he accomplished here and not have it be a situation where I can't believe he doesn't want to come back. Why is he going to the transfer portal? Why was it? Guys, the last 2 years are the best 2 years in the history of the program. And Micah Parrish was a part of both of those years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a part of them in a big way. Yes, if you're an Aztecs fan, do you want to see parts of the last 2 years team return? Yes, you do. But at the same time, you have to let these kids and these guys do what they want to do. And if they want to go somewhere else, they want to pursue something else, then that's their right. And I don't think anybody should be upset with them, because instead you should be praising them. You should be celebrating them because of what they accomplished here on the Mesa.
I completely agree. It's just it's a different time. And even I think by and large, Aztec fans were very supportive of Keyshawn Johnson. But some people weren't, and it rubbed them the wrong way. But here's the thing. He graduated from San Diego State. He played on the Mesa for 4 years. It's hard to ask for more than that when you have players spending 1 year at 4 or 5 different schools. To get any type of consistency is almost more of the exception to the rule at this point. So the way I would look at it is the way you just said it, which is you wish Micah Parrish the very best. And if it means coming back to San Diego State, then maybe that's what's best for Micah and the program. If it means going elsewhere, it's understandable. There are thousands. That's not cliche. Literally, there are thousands of players right now, like half of college basketball, that is in the portal. Now, what we do know in talking to Dutch is you have hopefully players like Elijah Saunders and Miles Bird and Miles Heide and BJ Davis, the possibility of someone like Lamont Butler, Reese Waters, your starting point plus your freshman class coming in. You've got this core of 6, 7, 8 before you even quote unquote attack the portal. And San Diego State, like Dutch said, has always been very good. Bless you.
How happy are you that I didn't sneeze during the Dutch interview?
Relatively happy. Yeah,
pretty happy he didn't sneeze on Dutch.
Yes, I am happy you didn't do that.
I'm just glad that he got to hear how
I was wondering if Brent was going to play that open for the first hour or not. Or just play like that. Let's just start the show.
I debated it, and I played it for J-Riff, and he goes, it's pretty funny. And I said, I think Dutch will think it's funny. So
he thought I was an idiot.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, so now, it's not like he hasn't listened to the show before.
Exactly.
So he probably already thinks that.
Exactly.
That's true.
But they've hit in the portal with such precision. Malachi Flynn, Jaden Ledee, Darion Trammell, Reese Waters. These are huge additions. These aren't just they've added some pieces that have been helpful. They've added All-Americans in the last 5 years, 2 of them.
And what did Dutch tell us when we asked him about the portal? We were the masters of the portal before the portal was even really a thing.
Right. You had to sit out a year. Yeah. There were less transfers.
Mm-hmm. And the NIL didn't play any factor in it.
Exactly.
Jaden had to sit out. A year.
Yeah,
correct?
He was a 2-time transfer. Yes.
And now that's not the case anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why you look at this program and when I think of the transfer portal, I know I'm very biased and I cover San Diego State on a daily basis. But if Dutch is right, this team in this program, and especially him, they were doing the transfer portal before the transfer portal became this thing.
Right.
And so that's why you trust him with whatever moves that they make in the portal, because they've done it. They were doing it before everybody else.
How cool was it?
Even though now everyone's doing it the same, but
right. Still. And by the way, what is going to be interesting is now that everyone is going the portal route, it will be interesting to see how high school recruiting changes moving forward. There might be more opportunities to get high-level players out of high school because there's so much interest in veteran players in the portal. So it's going back and forth. What I found really interesting was when he talked about that NIL event that we had talked about like a month ago. We were on the Mesa when that news came out.
They're like, oh, we're going to be in it, maybe.
Right. If this event occurs, it sounds like San Diego State is well set up to be in it. I think they call it like the Players Era NIL event, or I don't even know. But this is a fascinating event because each team's collective, I believe, or student athletes could receive like $1 million or more for playing in this event. You're going to have some of the biggest programs in college basketball, including San Diego State, if this event takes place. But we talk about the importance of the Mesa Foundation collectives NIL compensation. You get in an event that pays your student athletes $1 million in totality, not every player getting $1 million, but like the scholarship student athletes dividing $1 million, and you're playing schools like, what does he say, Michigan State and Oregon and others. I mean, that could be a pretty incredible event if it comes to fruition.
That'd be cool. Could. Now, he didn't confirm that they're in it,
right?
But he just mentioned, we want to be in it, and it sounded like the way that things was leaning that this is something that could be a real possibility, which, I mean, would be great. And I think it's like a no-brainer in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, it would be. No, it's a no-brainer.
If you had the opportunity to do it, it's not like you can just flip a switch, call somebody and say, hey, we want to be in the tournament. I think there's like things that have to go in it to be in it.
Like
right?
It has to exist.
Well, it has to exist. And I'm sure there's some criteria, right? For certain teams to be in it.
I don't know if there's criteria or not, but I think if it exists, San Diego State clearly wants to be in it because it offers high-quality opponents. They're always thinking about their resume and their metrics and their non-conference schedule.
Las Vegas.
And it provides, right, it's in Las Vegas. You don't have to travel for it. And it provides NIL resources for student athletes.
I think it's perfect.
What'd you think of, it was interesting because he said in the portal, we're looking for a little bit of everything, which makes sense. You're losing someone like Darion Trammell. You could be losing someone like Micah Parrish. You lost an All-American in Jaden Ledee. He said, or you're just going for the best available player potentially as well. He said, I think off the top of the interview, hey, we'll have some, transfer portal guys on campus over the course of the next handful of days. So that's well underway. Rest assured, San Diego State, to some form or fashion, is going to be adding via the portal. The question is who, when, and what, but they'll be adding in the portal like most programs around the country.
They always add in the portal.
Yeah.
And usually they always add impactful people in the portal. Maybe the last time that they didn't add an impactful piece in the portal.
I mean, the two pieces they added this year were huge parts of the rotation. Reese Waters, who was
Jay Powell,
and Jay Powell, who started for the second half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The year before that, you had a Darion Trammell in the national championship game.
Micah Parrish.
You had a Micah Parrish. The year before that, you had a Jaden Ledee. So, yeah, in the staff in Dutch, if you're an Aztec fan, you absolutely have to trust what they're going to do in the portal.
It feels like, at least for the last couple of years, they have always added an impactful piece that ends up either being like a starter or a key role player off their bench. But whoever they add in the portal, maybe not every one of them plays right away, but they always at least add one impactful guy.
100%.
And probably two. I mean, it's something that that they're going to be doing. They're not going to be sitting on the sideline and not utilizing the portal to the best of their ability. And I can't wait to see what happens. I know that you're more of like, okay, Jim, look who's in the portal. I'm more of a like, I just want the hot dog.
Just tell me when they sign someone.
Yeah. Like, just tell me when they sign somebody. I don't care how the sausage is made. Like, I want to give me something when it's like actually concrete.
I like the whole process.
I know you do.